Running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, for you, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya. Company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over. Yeah, I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Yeah, I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
So if there's a day where you're going to be feeling the burn a little bit, you're going to be feeling some sort of pain a little bit, it most likely is going to be on a Monday. Most likely is going to be on a Monday. And, well, what stage are you at in life? It's funny, a friend of mine, I was talking to her, and me and this friend of mine both went to high school together, and we're both at the same age. We're both in our mid-30s. And we both are blessed and cursed with a baby face that makes us look like we're like 25. It's funny. Funkhauser and I were talking to someone that was interested possibly in helping us syndicate the show the other day. And he was like, man, for someone so young, you're sure mature. I was like, well, I'm 35. He's like, no, you're not. And honestly, this is a part of the struggle that I've had getting the show off the ground. Like when I first started doing talk radio, people were like, this guy, what, you mean the kid that looks like he should be skateboarding outside of 7-Eleven? No, we're not going to let him guest host our Angry Old White Guy channel. Absolutely not, under no circumstances. And, I'm 35, look 25. And like I said, kind of a blessing and a curse. But I was talking to this friend of mine who, same deal, vampire, doesn't get old, don't know exactly what she's doing or what I'm doing. It's not necessarily clean living because I eat terrible food every single day. And she has a whole bunch of extracurricular habits that are the ones that are supposed to age you. But whatever the case may be, we both look really young. And I was like, okay, so you and I both look young on the outside, but how do you feel? Are you starting to feel old? And she was like, yeah. You know what? You know what the difference is now between 10 years ago? I was like, what? She's like, when I sit down for a while and then get up, I hurt. I was just like, oh, yeah, I can relate to that. Although, what's interesting, I started going to a chiropractor a little while ago thinking that, like, my back was bad. And he was like, no, you just, do you have a lot of stress and tension in your life? I was like, I don't know. What do you think? He was like, judging by the way your lower back is all spasmed up, I'm going to guess you do. And that was the cause of the lower back pain as opposed to any sort of, like, getting old. He said it was due to stress and tension. And the chiropractor sorted me right the hell out. By the way, if you think chiropractors are for millionaires and rock stars, I go to this place. I'm not even, like, working with them or anything, but I go to this place called The Joint. And The Joint, like, I don't know. It's sort of like the Massage Envy. It's a Massage Envy. What's that kind of ice cream that just goes straight out of the thing, Funkhauser? What is it? Ready?
Self-serve?
Soft serve, yeah. It's sort of like the soft serve of
now
chiropractic.
I want some ice cream.
Yeah, it's like the soft serve of being a chiropractor. We're like, there's your adjustment. Want sprinkles on it? Go. Like, it's not a long or drawn out process, and a lot of people see. Chiropractors are doctors. But, when you go get a membership at this place, it's sort of like almost like you get a punch card, like the 5th or 6th adjustment is free. And I have a hard time calling any place that gives me any person that gives me a punch card a doctor when I'm going in for treatment. But whatever the case may be, has worked wonders on my aches and or pain. So that's been like a cool thing. But my friend was like, yeah, I know I'm getting old because when I stand up after sitting down for a long time, I hurt. So what's kind of interesting is that your body changes when you get older. Eventually, everything sags or aches or both. Yay, happy Monday. But this new study found out the ages when the average person's parts start hurting, aging, or otherwise are changing. I want you to think about how old you are. And I want you to think about which of these you've experienced thus far. Funkhauser, how old are you now? You 30, 34?
I think you got a year on me, yeah.
Yeah, 34. All right, so Funkhauser, let me see here.
Is it quiz time?
Yeah. Oh, play some quiz music.
Oh, yeah, hold on a second there. Get some quiz music going on. All right, quiz music time.
At what age, Funkhauser, did you start to experience headaches and migraines on a more regular basis?
Oh, that didn't happen to me until later, so I'd say in my 20s.
Right. That's, you're right on track. Would you say sort of your mid-20s you started getting headaches and migraines?
Yeah. I thought it was life, but you're telling me it might be something else?
Well, it is life. It's called getting older. And this is the first sign of getting older. In your early 20s, early to mid-20s, at age 24, headaches and migraines start.
24.
Yeah. Now, you might have started experiencing this one earlier. You might have started because you're a gardener, which means you spend a lot of time crouched over in a position that's not really natural for a human being. But at what age would you say you started to experience back pain?
That hasn't really happened to me. It's just like every once in a while.
Yeah, just, you had no back pain. Now you have some. When did that start?
I think earlier, actually. I think that happened like in my late teens.
Oh, really?
Is that
Maybe
weird?
You have something. Yeah, no. I've had, when I was a kid, I was almost had scoliosis, where your spine curves in a way it shouldn't. And the doctor was like, we caught it young enough, and it's a mild enough thing where if you do these stretches every single day, you won't have to wear a back brace. And if you tell a prepubescent kid that they might have to wear a back brace if they don't do something, they do that something quickly. Back pain starts at more quiz music.
Hey, we're out.
We are. More. Back pain starts at age 33. Your knees start to go at age 37. These are the things we have to look forward to, Funkhauser. First gray hair shows up at 39. Joint pain and arthritis at 40, and hot flashes at 50.
Ooh.
Happy Monday.
That's not what the word music means. That's not how you use it. You gave it a shot. You tried your best. Your best just sucked not enough. So hang it up. Just give it up. It's time somebody let you know that you will never be.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1969.
In May of '69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released a double concept album, Tommy, which goes top 10 in the U.S. and the U.K.
He can beat my best. His disciples lead him in, and he just does the rest. It's not crazy, clever fingers, never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
And now your iHeartRadio Home Theater Throwdown.
This week, Jesse Eisenberg and Kristen Stewart in the action comedy American Ultra. Available now on DVD, Blu-ray, and your digital stream. Also out, Owen Wilson and Pierce Brosnan in No Escape. Meryl Streep rocks out in Ricky and the Flash. And for the kiddies, the Shaun the Sheep movie and new special Blu-ray editions of Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. Plus, for all you nerds, the Doctor Who Christmas Specials gift set.
There's your iHeartRadio Home Theater Throwdown.
Like most kids from a privileged white upper-middle-class suburban background, for a significant portion of his childhood, he was pretty convinced he was down. AD on the radio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah. You've been talking about me for a long time, but you're too scared to say what's on your mind. You've been talking about me for a long time.
So you know how Major League Baseball, and all of Major League Baseball, every single team is based in America. Every single team is based in America except for the Toronto Blue Jays. There used to be the Montreal Expos, but they moved. They became the Washington Nationals. And, well, the Toronto Blue Jays, when they were in contention for the World Series toward the end of this year, bing bong, yeah, somebody come and fix that. Oh, you're not going to? Oh, okay, it's definitely a Monday. I'm going to have to kill somebody later. But the Toronto Blue Jays being part of Major League Baseball kind of drives me a little freaking crazy. Only because, well, it's just like every single team that is in Major League Baseball is in America, except for you. You're the anomaly. Why? You know, this is our national pastime, not yours. Go back up to the Great White Frozen North. Enjoy your Nickelback and Celine Dion records and play your national sport. You know, that thing where you sweep on ice. Leave this to us. Thanks very much. But you know what? I'll be cooler with that if this catches on. It looks like baseball is catching on in an international way. I mean, we know that baseball is a big deal. Who the hell knows what that bing bong is? Funkhauser, it's Monday. Like, can you do some legal research and see how many extenuating circumstances I need with people doing their job around here properly to get a murder charge reduced to manslaughter? I think I might need to cash that chip in a little later on in the show. But anyways, baseball is spreading across America. Was spreading across the world, rather. And now there's, we knew it was big we knew that baseball was huge in Japan, and we knew that baseball is huge in South America. And now there's Australian League Baseball. Yep, the Australian Baseball League. Australians apparently love baseball, and they've got their own league now, and they kind of do everything the way that we do, up to and including having people sing the national anthem at the beginning of the game, except it's the Australian national anthem. And, if the whole world starts to get in on it, I think that could be kind of interesting. Baseball could become more like soccer, or football, as they call it in the rest of the world, and we could have sort of a World Cup of baseball, and I think that would be fun. But the upshot of this story is that a 7-year-old kid named Ethan sang Australia's national anthem before a baseball game the other night in Australia and got the hiccups before he started. But he sang anyway and hiccuped through the whole thing.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice. Oh, we fire and free. We've golden soil and water. Irish girls I see. Our land of ours in nature's gift of beauty.
What a little freaking trooper. What a little freaking trooper.
Went through the whole thing. That was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, hey, what are you going to do? Stop in the middle and ask for a drink of water? No, you're going to soldier on. You're going to make the best of a tough situation. I think that kid's going to go far in life. Speaking of the Washington Nationals player Bryce Harper did an interview on SportsCenter the other night and tried to use the word memes, and it went horrifically wrong.
Would you rather be as bald as I am for the rest of your life or never have a season again where you have double-digit home runs? I'm talking like 7 is a whole lot of home runs. So you're bald as Van Pelt or 7 home runs is like a big power year for you. Which would you rather be?
I don't even want to answer that right now because I know how many memes are going to be out there of me with a bald head. So...
Yes, memes instead of memes. Excuse me. Picture of health and vitality. Alrighty then. Today in the show, Hillary Clinton takes on freedom of speech. Hillary Clinton versus the First Amendment. What exactly happened? Well, it's kind of an interesting one. There's a compilation video that's been put out by the folks over at the Laugh Factory of people busting on Hillary Clinton. And the folks that work with Hillary Clinton, her handlers, not so cool with that. In fact, they are flying in the face of the First Amendment and free speech with their response to that video. And not a good look. Not a good look for the Hillary campaign to so violently speak out against free speech. Now, was it her? Was it one of her handlers? We'll go through the whole situation in just a little bit and exactly what transpired. Right now, though, let's take a look at the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair, certainly not balanced. Funkhauser, what is going on in the world, and how are you?
Oh, good morning. Good morning. What is going on in the world? Many, many things. Many things. First off, the American Music Awards aired last night. Did you see it? I did. Well, I want my time back. I waited the whole time for In Memoriam, and I guess they don't do it on all the shows.
Right.
You know, I want to hear the sad song and then, find out which composer from the 40s passed on. But they did a lot of stuff. AMAs last night.
Oh, yeah. They didn't, no tribute paid to those people that have passed away.
Well, they did Paris and Celine Dion, but the In Memoriam Elton John song wasn't there this year.
Yeah. I guess it would have been kind of crass to be like, we lost a great songwriter this year directly after what happened in Paris. I think that was probably a good move. But yeah, the big winner at the AMAs last night was anybody who switched to NBC to watch the Bengals-Cardinals game, I think.
Should have done that.
Didn't One Direction win an AMA?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, One Direction won an AMA, an American Music Award. Not only are One Direction not American, pretty certain that what they do doesn't count as music, technically speaking.
No.
This is like hold on, wait, is it? Where'd it go? What'd they win? One Direction won favorite pop rock group for the third year in a row. And interestingly enough, I think they'd trade all three of those awards for a single pube.
It's coming next Thursday.
Yeah, I don't watch award ceremonies. I don't that whole sort of like egregious orgy of self-congratulation.
Oh, I love it. That's why I watch.
Yeah. Well, see, but you're from LA, and also you're a producer of this sort of things. Like when the iHeart Awards are going on or the iHeart Festival's going on, who's behind the scenes pressing buttons, making people look entirely more professional than they actually are? Super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser, that's who. So you have an appreciation of the technical aspect of it that a lot of people don't. I get why you watch these things.
Nowadays, I'm just looking for the spots that are awkwardly broken.
Yeah,
like, shouldn't have saw that. Whoops.
Yeah.
Camera in the shot. Whoops.
At this stage in the game, I don't know why they just...
but something happened. I got to tell you guys, if you have the DVR in the beginning, there's a beginning with J-Lo was the host. Excuse me, J-Lo was the host. It was very exciting. And but she had these skin-tight dancers dancing around. And there was one part that I noticed, like, I can kind of see through one of them.
Oh.
Well, one of the lady dancer ladies there, she ripped a giant hole in her spandex thing, and her entire backside was sitting there for the American Broadcasting Company to air. And I, for one, miss my DVR. See if you can Google that one.
Yeah. I don't know why at this stage of the game they just don't drop the pretense and call it the Jennifer Lopez Look at My Ass show. Like, it's really, it's what it's all about. I love how Jennifer Lopez comes out on stage. What's very interesting is, like, nobody ever talks to her about the booty. No one ever goes, like, people go, hey, you're like 40 and killing it. You've been putting on a better show than people that are in their 20s now. Blah, 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 blah. People love to talk to her about all sorts of things. But no one at any stage in the game goes, like, hey, essentially, this has just been a series of really long, tight shots on your ass. Let's talk about that. It looks great still. Let's talk about... And, like, nobody ever talks about her butt, but that's all they do. Like, and I'm confident that she's like, okay... We're gonna go out. Everybody get, is my ass lit right? Do you have the right angle on my butt? Does it look, it really is completely unashamedly all about her butt. Yet no one ever talks to her about it. It's a weird thing. It's just like it's right there, literally and metaphorically, and no one's allowed to bring it up. It's a very strange thing. If we ever get Jennifer Lopez on this show to be interviewed, and we're getting a better class of guests on this show this week. Who are we talking to, Funkhauser?
No, we're not.
We're not.
Yeah. No,
we got turned down.
Yeah, it filled up. The bus is full. Wait for the next
bus. The bus is full. That's okay. I didn't want to talk to those non-opposable thumb-having hicks anyway. I don't like country music. Who are we talking about? One of the biggest country bands in the world that's not deciding to do this little show. I wonder why. Go on. What else is happening?
Miley Cyrus turned 23 today.
Oh, Miley Cyrus. My size now 23?
My size 23!
Which begs the question, what do you get someone who's licked everything?
A donut.
If you're stuck on if you're stuck on a gift, she can always use more Purell for her wrecking ball.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrate her birthday at Chuck E. Sleaze. Okay, that's all I got. Go on.
Gwyneth Paltrow will sing on Coldplay's new album.
Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow will sing on Coldplay's new album.
Consciously, she will.
She is consciously uncoupled from lead singer Chris Martin. But they are still coupled enough to the point where she's going to put in a musical performance on his album. So don't everybody so don't all the black people get excited all at once. This is Gwyneth Paltrow will sing on Coldplay's new album is the single whitest sentence I have ever heard. This album now replaces a billion doves eating marshmallows in a snowstorm as the single whitest thing in the universe. No soul whatsoever. Not that I have tons of it. I'm extraordinarily white, but that's much, much whiter. Go on.
Al Roker says a cab sped right by him and picked up a white guy a block later.
Yeah. Yep. Still exists, still goes on. In New York City, ideally the biggest cultural melting pot on the face of the planet, someone like Al Roker still has problems hailing a cab because he's black. That's at least in his that's his approximation of the situation. Maybe it's not because of the color of his skin, but more because he's prone to pooping himself and talking about it afterwards. Would you want you have to recognize Al? Well, I don't know.
He does that?
Oh yeah, he did it at the White House. You don't know?
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Al Roker pooped in his pants at the White House. And if that's what he's going to do in the White House, I shudder to think what happens in a cab. Isn't that because of his weight loss surgery, though? Like, didn't he have some sort of stomach stapling thing which causes you to lose control over your bowels?
That. Sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't. If I drove a cab, I wouldn't want someone pooping in it. But you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and guess it was due to some form of racism. Either it was due to some form of racism, which I have absolutely no problem believing, because, look, it exists. I was so disappointed when I moved to New York City. So disappointed because, grew up in London, which is kind of a cultural melting pot in a lot of ways. I think it's because a lot of people kind of find themselves to be more European than anything else, and everybody sort of hangs out with everybody. Now, there's definitely racism, there's definitely segregation. All of that definitely exists in England and Europe, and it's a very different place now to when I left. I mean, with everything that's going on politically in Europe with regard to ISIS and everything else, and then the sort of divides within society that the Islamic State or the aspiring Islamic State is causing. It's very different now to when I left, and I'm extraordinarily cognizant of that. But at the time, I felt like it was a pretty successfully integrated city. I didn't really ever experience racism. And then I moved to New York City, and I thought it was going to be even more so. And no, not so much. Not so much. So, I mean, if that was the case, if that actually happened, if Al Roker says a cab sped right by him and picked up a white guy a block later, sadly, I don't have a hard time believing that. But I wonder if there's a certain amount of Brian Williams sort of artistic storytelling going on there as well. You know, who was the cab driver? Do we have proof of this? Who the hell knows? I do know this, though. Hillary Clinton would like to take on the First Amendment, and we'll get into that a little later on in the show. Thank you so much for hanging out.
I know it's not right, but I think that I would feel better if I could smash all your fingers so you could never touch a guitar again and make that horrible thing that you so laughably call music. That's not what the word music means. That's not how you use it. You gave it a shot. You tried your best. Your best just sucked without enough, so hang
This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett. Army officials confirm a pilot and a crew member are dead after an Apache helicopter crashed in South Korea. The chopper crashed about 50 miles east of a U.S. military base. South Korean media report the helicopter may have hit a steel tower or power lines before it crashed. Secretary of State John Kerry wants to speed up efforts to secure some sort of peace deal in war-torn Syria. It is widely believed that Syria's long civil war has fostered the growth of ISIS. Meanwhile, Kerry says there is no specific threat against the U.S.
There is always, as we've said to people for years, the threat of some actor, some lone wolf person, someone who slipped through. That's the world we're living in today, and we understand that.
Kerry tells NBC's Today Show that people should not panic or give in to fear. He says everybody understands that more needs to be done to defeat ISIS. Kerry's comments come as the Belgium capital remains on a heightened terror alert. This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett.
Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Credit card companies lure you in with low introductory rates or low minimum payments, and before you know it, you owe thousands of dollars in credit card debt. It has happened to millions of good people just like you. But here's the good news. Thanks to a powerful program now approved, anyone with $2,000 or more in credit card debt can cut their credit card payments up to half and even reduce or eliminate interest charges altogether. That's right. Our nationwide nonprofit program is helping U.S. residents cut their credit card payments. Call 800-991-6376 now. The call and information are free. Credit Guard has helped over 500,000 people with their credit card debt, and now we can help you. Call 800-991-6376 to see how this powerful nonprofit program can work for you. Bad credit card debt happens to good people. Get free of credit card debt today. Call 800-991-6376. That's 800-991-6376. Again, 800-991-6376.
What's trending? This update is brought to you by TrueCar. Find the new car you want, see what others paid, and lock in guaranteed savings from TrueCar certified dealers. Save time, save money, and never overpay. Download the TrueCar app today. Week 11 in the NFL. Sunday night, the Cardinals get a last-second field goal to edge the Bengals 34-31. Carson Palmer had 4 TD passes for Arizona as both teams are now 8-2 on the season. In late action, the Seahawks beat the 49ers 29-13. Russell Wilson had 3 touchdown passes. Seattle moves a game out of an NFC wildcard spot. In early action, Texans beat the Jets 24-17. Houston remains tied with Indianapolis for first place in the AFC South. Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdown passes for Tampa Bay as the Buccaneers beat up on the Eagles 45-17. Tampa Bay's a game out of a wildcard spot in the NFC. And Tony Romo returned from injury. He had a couple of touchdown passes, helping the Cowboys beat the Dolphins 24-17. In baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers will reportedly name Dave Roberts as their new manager. I'm Eddie Garcia.
We are Fox. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations the Bay City Rollers finally score a hit in the U.S. with the #1 single Saturday Night.
This is Saturday night.
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you. Show me the way every day. I want you. Show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at the
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976. Coming up. iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to talk about why he felt the documentary Genesis, Sum of the Parts, was worthy of production.
People forget from that one band, school band, you had the Gabriel career, the Collins, the Mechanics career, and then you put songs together. This is the key. You see a list of songs and you kind of go, In the Air Tonight, Invisible Touch, Living Years, Biko, and you kind of go, that's a great combination of songwriting. And so in a way, this documentary tries to sort of cement that a little bit. Because I meet people still these days who say to me, you mean you're the Mike and the Mechanics? They don't tie it in all the time. So in a way, this documentary, I think, helps do that.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford and all your
Now, more AD on the radio.
once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
So Hillary Clinton and her campaign have decided to take on the First Amendment. They're like, Schmamendment. Let's get some incendiary stuff about me taken off the interwebs. How'd this happen? What exactly went down? We'll discuss it after we finish up what remains of the news in our segment, My Witness News, in no way, shape, or form fair. Certainly not balanced. Funkhauser, you know, you've been telling us the news, but you haven't told us the news on you. How are you feeling? How you doing? How's everything going?
Things are good. I went to a sports game.
Didn't you go to the Lakers game? Or
yeah, I went to the Lakers Raptors game. And the Raptors won, and I was, I saw, speaking of knee and back pain, I saw our friend Kobe out there hobbling around. I guess that's the thing. All my friends were like, oh, this might be the last time we ever see Kobe perform and play out there. But yeah, good times. Good times downtown. Right before the American Music Awards, they blocked everything off because it's right there at Staples Center. They had it at the same place, so there's like red carpets that you couldn't go to and everything. It was all crowded because single file lines here and there.
Yeah, between a Lakers game and the American Music Awards, I would imagine that you had to be willing to give up a large chunk of your Sunday to get in there.
No, it's Friday. So
Friday?
It was they set it up way ahead of time. I guess when they do it down at Hollywood and Highland, over there at the thing, the Kodak Theater, they have to close off the street and they do it like the day before. But since it's downtown LA and it doesn't mess with traffic, they just close everything down, set it all up. And here come the Jonas Brothers. Look out! They're all wearing wool suits.
Wool suit. Have you ever seen that Family Guy?
No. Is that a thing? Damn it! Did it again.
Cap? No. There's this bit where Stewie is talking to... what's the name of that guy? He was drunk all the time. He played Bullseye in the Daredevil movie. Help me out. He's Irish, I think.
To Twitter. Come on, Twitter.
Yeah. Bullseye.
To Google. Da, 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 da.
I'll just...
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'll pull all this up in a little bit. Shall we waste listeners' time as we hunt for things on the
Why
internet?
not? We've got so much of it.
Or shall we prepare during the break? Let's get back to the news, I suppose.
David Beckham says that growing up, he picked soccer over girls.
Go on, do your English accent again.
David Beckham says that growing up, he picked soccer over girls.
David Beckham says growing up, he picked soccer over the girls. Yeah. Stone me, look at the jabblies on that. That's my favorite expression that I still, like, from when I grew up in England, that I still say in an English accent, because, like, stone me, which basically is making reference to a certain portion of a female's anatomy, doesn't sound good in an American accent. Stone me, look at the jubblies on that. Doesn't work as well as stone me, look at the jubblies on that. David Beckham says that growing up, he picked soccer over girls. No, obviously, it worked out for him in the end. You get really good at soccer, the girls will follow. Let me tell you from firsthand experience, though, that the results are not the same when you pick comic books over girls. Did not work out so well. Go on.
It worked for Sheldon.
Right.
Turkey will cost more this Thanksgiving than it did last Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Trying to figure out which is... All right, now do a turkey with an English accent. Turkey's going to cost more this Thanksgiving, yeah. So buy a smaller one and eat less, I suppose.
Tofurkey.
Buy a smaller one and eat less. Kidding! Kidding. Stuff yourself silly and go into debt. It's the American way. Go on.
President Obama says he wants to own an NBA team when he leaves the White House.
Really? He wants to own an NBA team. I mean, like, I felt like Obama was been pretty checked out for, I don't know, a long time. I think he's just counting the days until he's like, sweet, sweet freedom. He's like, this all becomes somebody else's problem in the not too distant future. And I thought he was just going to make a living, being clever and funny. Like, that's, like, his White House Correspondents' Dinner, that's what look, lots of presidents are not necessarily the greatest presidents. They're the greatest speakers. They know how to spin a yarn. They know how to get on stage and make people respond a certain way. And, like, President Obama, I think, is far and away the most show business adept president there's been. I mean, Ronald Reagan was an actor, and I still think that President Obama is better at playing to the cameras than he was. But President Obama, I thought, was just going to make a living talking and being clever in public. Now he wants to own an NBA team. Yeah. Why? Why that over being funny and clever? It's not like he likes baseball or basketball, rather. Yeah, NBA. It's not like he likes basketball. I think that just for once he'd like to get a group of people to pass something. Go on.
Doctors, all of them, say holding your poop can be dangerous and potentially fatal.
Oh.
I gotta go.
That means I'm killing myself right now. I've had half a pot of coffee and an omelet this morning, and haven't had time for that. So apparently, I'm killing myself. Yeah, doctors say holding your poop can be dangerous and potentially fatal. Maybe we'll talk about the science behind this a little later on in the show if we have time. But yeah, ironically, I do this all the time, and I still don't give a crap. Go on.
I see what you did there. Yeah. Yesterday marked the anniversary of the assassination of JFK.
Yeah.
I said in an old newsy accent.
Yeah. Or did it, said the conspiracy theorist in me.
Hey,
turn up the news bed. I'm feeling a little less newsy at the moment. Yeah, down a bit. There we go. Now that's a perfect news level.
Drowning in news. Motor Trend has named the Camaro the car of the year.
I saw that. I was like, really? The Camaro? One of my friends in high school had a Camaro, and thought it would help him to meet girls. And you know what? We used to go out in it, and we really did well with meeting girls in the Camaro. But the girls quickly gave up on us when we asked them to get out and push because the thing was a piece of crap that broke down. Motor Trend named Camaro car of the year. In a related story, Motor Trend apparently now being published by your Italian neighbor from Jersey who constantly reeks of Dracar Noir.
Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen.
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Genesis.
After having replaced Anthony Phillips and John Mayhew with Phil Collins and Steve Hackett, the classic Genesis lineup was in place, and the band went on their now legendary 1971 tour, a colorful lineup of strange performances. It was with Foxtrot, however, that Genesis scored their first major critical success. Selling England by the pound in 1973, soon made number 3 in the UK charts, gave the band a reputation in America, and also provided their first UK hit single. A year later, Genesis, now big-time rock superstars, released the concept double album, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. This album was also the last one to be made by the original Genesis lineup.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Genesis and all your favorite artists.
Foreclosure is hard on every member of the family, but your family is not alone. If you're struggling with your mortgage, there is help. To learn about the government's Making Home Affordable program, visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE to speak to a HUD-approved housing counselor. It's free of charge. Visit makinghomeaffordable.gov or call 1-888-995-HOPE today. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, Neighbor.
Now, Someone who everybody wants to punch in the face. AD on the radio.
You know how the impersonation we do of Oprah Winfrey around here consists of one thing and one thing only? Funkhauser?
What is it?
Everybody look under your chair. You get a new whatever the
Something's
hell
gonna happen.
You get a this, and you get a this, and you get a this. I mean, like, ever since she started up her own cable network that got no ratings, it's everybody look under your chair. You're all getting pink slips. You get a pink slip, and you get a pink slip, and you know why that happens? You know why she started doing that? It was actually kind of interesting, just because it's one of those moments in broadcasting that's become a thing. It's like Sunday, 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 or something like that. It's this ubiquitous thing. Oprah goes, you get this, and you get this, and you get this. Well, one of the most memorable moments from the Oprah Winfrey Show is, of course, that she did an interview with Entertainment Tonight, and she said she had to shout it out over and over because the audience members were confused.
I was saying that because people were screaming so loudly, they didn't know what was going on. And prior to that moment, I had said, open up your boxes, one person has a key. So when I looked at the faces of the audience, they go, but I have a key, and then she has a key. I thought I had the key. So that's why I said, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, to try to clarify, because they all look so confused. Everybody gets a car.
Do you think one day we'll be able to give everybody in our audience a car, Funkhauser?
I got to get a die-cast metal maker machine thing and learn how to paint, and sure.
You
Hot
get a
Wheels
matchbox,
for
and you
everyone.
get a matchbox, and you get a matchbox. Yay. All right, let's roll through what remains of the news, and then we'll talk about how Hillary Clinton is essentially defecating all over the First Amendment.
Clinton. Dubuque, Iowa. Dubuque, Iowa.
Which sounds like you're having some sort of visceral, digestive reaction to something that you shouldn't have consumed. Like, I debuked all over the place after eating my 5th caramel apple from the fair. Dubuque. But go on. Dubuque, Iowa.
Dubuque, Iowa has been named America's drunkest city.
Yeah. America's drunkest city. Where have you been in America where you find people drink the most heavily?
I've been
Do people drink in L.A.?
I've been to Ottawa, Iowa, but I think Portland has is the runaway winner.
Runaway winner with drinking?
There's a bar on every corner over there.
Yeah. Not so much compared to Dubuque. I think what happens is this. Residents begin drinking heavily from the moment they realize, crap, I live in Dubuque, Iowa.
Oh, man.
3/5 of Jack Daniels should make this somewhat more tolerable. Oh, it didn't? Let's keep going. Let's see where the line is. Oh, there's me crossing it. I've debuked. Go on.
Urban Outfitters bought a pizza chain.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So great news for everyone who likes eating pizza, but just wishes they could do it surrounded by insufferable hipsters. Don't shop at Urban Outfitters. Don't. Like, I haven't talked about this on the show before, but I used to own a store. I used to own a store, and Urban Outfitters is this. When you go to, all right, every store gets the stuff that they sell from sort of like massive conventions, usually in Vegas. And they have these big conventions where upstairs they have all these sort of like vendors, all these lines. Like, this is when you get Puff Daddy, sort of like trying to sell his Sean John suits to Macy's. Like, everyone's there trying to hawk the garments or whatever the hell it is that they're trying to sell to stores. And it's this big glitzy parade of crazy awesome upstairs where you're doing that sort of thing. Downstairs, and usually I think like upstairs there's a couple different conventions. One's called Magic, one's called Project, and it's basically just people trying to hawk their wares. Downstairs there's a convention called Off Price. And what Off Price is this sort of thing where you can get all these things that didn't quite take. maybe they're slightly blemished, or maybe there's like a stitch wrong in this particular pair of Nikes that were made for the Japanese market, or maybe it just never caught on, so they made a limited run of something and now they're trying to get rid of it. And so you have all these sort of like off-brand, off-price, it's called off-price for a reason. And there are huge, huge savings to be made on these things that are kind of rare. Like if you see, if there is a Nike with a stitch wrong, or if there is a sneaker that didn't quite catch on, so they only made a few of them and they're trying to get rid of the rest of them, that's where people like Urban Outfitters go to shop. If you go to like Ross or TJ Maxx or someplace like that, you're going to see the same stuff there that there is in Urban Outfitters. Except in Ross, it's like $12 for a pair of sneakers because they go, this didn't catch on, this is end-of-the-line stuff, this is out of season, whatever the hell it is. There are huge savings to be had at Ross. There's two different business models, and one of them is that one. The other one is the Urban Outfitter one, where they buy all this stuff, and you have to be able to buy in bulk to do this. So they buy all this stuff, and they go, oh, look, this is limited run, therefore we're going to make you pay $200 for this pair of sneakers, while Ross are selling the exact same one for $12 or $20 or something like that. So don't shop at Urban Outfitters, whether you're eating pizza or not. It's beware, rip off.
Plus, they deliver
it's all about
it.
Perception.
They give you the pizza on a record player that comes in a suitcase,
right? Yeah.
Plastic headphones.
It always makes me laugh when I see stuff like that, because it is mall hipster shopping, is what it is, and it's just like. It just shows that sort of like snarky hipsters are as easily taken in as anyone else. You know, like Bon Iver, that record that you're listening to, he's just as stoked about his stack of Grammys as the guys in Nickelback, and he's really, really happy to take your dollar that you earned by making foamy lattes while writing your screenplay that no one will ever read. It's just, I think that's my main problem with the snarky elitism of hipsters, is that they find themselves to be so clever and ahead of the curve, and they're just being catered to in the exact same way that, you know, people like Swamp Boat Racing and Nickelback shows are being catered to. Is no different. It's just a different end of the spectrum. Go on.
A man painted his home in tiger stripes to pay tribute to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Tiger stripes.
Yeah. My relationships with women pay tribute to the Houston Texans by featuring very little scoring. Go on.
I bet I know who painted his house with tiger stripes, brother.
Oh, God.
A Google
it's good, because that was really reaching, but it was actually really funny.
Did you hear about this? Did you hear about this?
Hear about this in news?
A Google self-driving car was pulled over for slow driving.
Yeah. Self-driving car. Are you into the self-driving car? Is that something you think you might want to do, Funkhauser?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine just jumping in your car, hopping in the back, and getting that extra 15 minutes of sleep that you needed? Be fantastic.
It'd be better than commuting with the rest of you guys on the way here.
Yeah.
Because you guys are scary. You guys are doing other things. You guys are coming into my lane.
Yeah.
Google cars
or
don't
you could
do
just
that.
I could prep for the show in the car as opposed to having to do it before I leave the house or the night before. Like, it'd be awesome. It'd be really, really cool. But, you know, the whole self-driving car thing is like, oh, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. You first. Like, that's something that I want somebody else to do before I do. Anyways, yeah, a Google self-driving car. They haven't perfected it yet because it was pulled over for driving too slow.
Who's driving? The one that's on cruise control. That's okay.
Bing's self-driving car continues to get away with everything because nobody pays attention to it. All right, then. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton and the First Amendment, shall we? Okay. Now, here's the thing that I got to do. I got to hit pause before the comic with the. I got to hit pause before the comic that swears comes onto the video. Basically, the Laugh Factory. You go to the Laugh Factory on the regular, don't you, Funkhauser?
Yeah. Our buddy Steve Hofstetter plays there too. He's going to be on the show at some point.
Yeah. Hofstetter's coming on the show. He does like a residency at the Laugh Factory, right? Like every couple days a week or something when he's in town.
Wednesdays. Yeah.
Yep. LA's iconic Laugh Factory posted a montage video of comedians making fun of Hillary Clinton. And all right, here's Dom Herrera talking about Hillary Clinton at the Laugh Factory. This is just one of many stand-up comedy performances that make mention of her.
Let me finish that thought. That woman should be president of the United States. Because she knows what it's like to like men and love women. You know what?
A fraction of a second before the F-bomb I got out of that video. So this is the deal. Owner Jamie Masada said that the Hillary campaign threatened him. He said, quote, "I've received complaints before, but never a call like this. Threatening to put me out of business if I don't cut the video." Now, practically all of the country's most acclaimed comedians have performed at the Laugh Factory at one stage in the game or another. Tim Allen, Jay Leno, Roseanne Barr, Drew Carey, George Carlin, Jim Carrey, Martin Lawrence, Jerry Seinfeld, George Lopez, our buddy Hofstadter that's going to be on the show a little later on in the year. I think we have him on when? In December? He's on the road, but we're having him on soon, right?
Yeah.
Anyways. The video features the individual acts of 5 comedians, 4 men and a woman. The skits all make fun of Clinton's wardrobe, her age, her sexual orientation, the Monica Lewinsky scandal, and the former First Lady's relationship with her famous husband. The Laugh Factory appropriately titled it Hillary versus the First Amendment. And Masada, who runs Laugh Factory and owns Laugh Factory, Masada said as soon as the video got posted on the Laugh Factory website, he received a phone call from a Clinton campaign staffer who told him that the video was, quote unquote, disgusting and asked who put me up to this. Masada was like, no, bite me. Absolutely not. I'm not telling you. I'm not taking it down. He says that the comedy stage is a sanctuary for freedom of speech no matter who is offended. Kind of an interesting contradiction, wouldn't you say? I mean, generally speaking. And look, I think the quote is inappropriately attributed to Voltaire a lot. I don't agree with what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That's not Voltaire. It was one of his biographers that was trying to kind of sort of sum up Voltaire's. And it makes me laugh. It really makes me laugh when you see Voltaire incorrectly quoted on a bumper sticker. It's like it's so often used by people that are all like, America, I disagree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. Voltaire. It's so funny to see people that are like, America, quoting someone that's not American and doing it inappropriately, but or incorrectly. But it raises kind of an interesting red flag with regard to the Hillary campaign. And I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that this is probably some staffer. This is probably some staffer going after them, taking matters into their own hands, being like, oh, this is propaganda. This is negative advertising. I'm going to get this taken down. I'm going to be the hero of the Hillary Clinton campaign by taking the Laugh Factory to task over this video that goes after our dear leader. Now, here's the thing. It's crazy to think that you can fly in the face of the First Amendment, especially in the run-up to an election in 2016, as people are getting ready to pull the lever for democracy and decide who's going to be the new leader of this free world. One thing that you cannot do is you can't urinate all over the idea of the First Amendment. Free speech is, it's the First Amendment for a reason. It's a big deal in this country. And my thought on it is this. It had to be a campaign staffer. It had to be one of Hillary's minions, because Hillary herself wouldn't be stupid enough to defecate all over the First Amendment in the run-up to an election. Or would she?